I think audio is there. ये ऑफ है कि ऑन है? ऑन है ना? Okay. So we'll go back one slide. We have to check whether the clinical diagnosis is correct. We have to see the disease, where the disease is present or not, and we have to check the extent of the disease and potential for embolism. So how we start? We check the history, we check the clinical findings, we try to palpate the both carotids, we give the patient the extension, neck extension position, so that we can see neck right from supraclavicle region up to the say parotid region. So operator position, I was telling, it should be comfortable for us while doing the Doppler, because it takes little more time than routine ultrasound. Ultrasound neck you can finish in 5 minutes, but Doppler may take 10 minutes, 15 minutes if there is a pathology. So you have to be sitting comfortably, or if you are in standing, your machine height should be adjusted so that the screen is 10 to 15 degrees lower than your eye level. You should support your arm so that the wrist is free for maneuvering, and you have to do a bilateral assessment in case of carotid Doppler. So basic difference between Doppler and ultrasound abdomen or obstetric is the area of interest is very small. It is hardly 10 millimeter, 20 millimeter, or max 25 millimeter in aorta. So the field of interest is very less. So it is imperative for us to keep the probe steady, to keep the truss of the vessel. We should not move probe much from here and there. It is not a screening from one side to other side. So once we identify the vessel, we have to keep probe steady, and for that matter our either wrist or the elbow should be comfortably steady or with support. Next is, do not compress. We have a habit of compressing the abdomen or pelvis for displacing the bowel gas and seeing the abdominal organs or structures nicely. Here this is not required, because the vessels are very near, and if you compress, the veins will get compressed and we will not be able to see them nicely. Always start with the B mode, always start in a transverse view and then follow in a longitudinal view. While doing transverse view, you should make your left and right as per your convenience. So it should what you can say, it should be seen as in the patient. For example, on the left of the screen, you should be able to see the right of the patient, as always we see by convention. Then we can go to a longitudinal view, identify the relations with other vessels. Then we go for B mode characteristics. Then we see the lumen, and when we see the intima in case of carotid Doppler. Wherever you are lost, come back where you were seeing it properly, and then again proceed to the examination. The area interest is not much big in carotid Doppler, so it becomes very easy if you follow the technique. As we know, these are the basic differences between color and spectral Doppler. The flow detection is good by both. Direction of flow can be detected nicely by both. The pattern of flow you can sometimes judge on color Doppler, but it is always nicely seen in a spectral Doppler. Spectral Doppler is very good in understanding the pattern of the disease. The quantification of flow is a feature of spectral Doppler. You can use it for quantification of velocities and thereby various ratios, and therefore spectral Doppler is again good in various changes in the flow pattern. So we use this in combination. So these settings we have considered. So while doing carotid or peripheral Doppler, keep asking yourself, am I correct? Am I correct in identifying the vessel? Am I correct in getting proper direction of the flow? Is this the anticipated direction of flow in this particular situation? If this pattern is correct, and most importantly, is my angle correct whenever you are seeing a stenosis or narrowing. So plaques, they can be homogeneous, they can be heterogeneous, they can be calcified. This is a homogeneous plaque, this is a heterogeneous plaque, and this is a calcified plaque. Plaques like this you should be more worried about. The more the dark plaque is, more are the chances of embolism. So you should see them in a, so this is the flow going across the plaque, and the sample done here shows normal velocity. That means that plaque is not causing a significant occlusion of lumen. We know this chart. In carotid arteries, the peak systolic velocity is more than 1.1 and end diastolic velocity is more than 4.5, 45 centimeter per second are considered abnormal, and grading is done as per the velocity range available. So why it is important to see the stenosis and measure it nicely? Because our inaccurate assessment of angle will change the measure velocities. So it will change the degree of stenosis we give to the patient, and it will change the management of the patient. So for example, a significant stenosis will be amenable to either angioplastic stenting or what you can say surgery, as the case may be. So we will now do a demonstration of normal carotid Doppler. ये ऊपर आएगा क्या? बैठ जाओ थोड़ा सा. हाँ. So he is a young patient. We have asked him to come for demo. हाँ, सो जाओ, सो जाओ, लेट जाओ, गर्दन नीचे रख दो, थोड़ा नीचे आ जाओ. हाँ, बस उस तरफ गर्दन घुमाओ. So we have made him comfortable, given the position. Now we will enter the patient. नाम क्या है आपका? पुरुषोत्तम. Short form we will use Puru here. Sorry. And so our entry is complete. Now on the machine, nowadays all machines have got various presets. So we'll select इसको कनेक्ट करो. कहाँ है? हाँ. So we have used here is a 3-12 linear probe for carotid Doppler. So as I am using mask, I must use a gloves to avoid our or to prevent ourselves from COVID. We are using screens here also, plastic screens, but for today's demonstration we have just kept the screens on the other side. So we are using multiple curtains, and through curtains we do the examinations. So we start from the supraclavicular region. We identify the vessels. Focus little bit adjustment. Just check whether in the transmission it is seen nicely, or I will magnify the image. Okay, I have rested my forearm on patient's body, and I will use maneuvering by wrist only. So just insert the probe inferiorly behind the clavicle, and here you can see this. This is a brachiocephalic or the innominate artery, and we can see these two arteries coming out. The artery going to the neck is common carotid, and this is a subclavian. So finding it easy on right side, and we follow this in the transverse section. So difference between the artery and vein you can appreciate here. The artery is pulsatile or is jumping. Our vein shows phasic flow, oval shape, and is compressible. So this is jugular, this is carotid artery. What we will do, we'll just follow the common carotid artery right up to the bifurcation, and that's thyroid, and we'll apply more gel. Now you see here the caliber of the artery has increased. That is the bulb part. This was the normal caliber. We are going cranially. This is the bulb, and now you see these two branches. So the lateral one is, and the bigger one is common internal carotid, and the medial one and the smaller one is the external carotid. So in a younger patient we don't expect much, except for sometimes you can get acute thrombus in the ICA, especially in patients who have got tendency to blood coagulation like homocysteine or other diseases. Sometimes in sickle also you tend to get this ICA occlusion. So we come back to our position and make the probe longitudinally. After making the probe longitudinally, I know this is cranial, this is cephalad. So blood is coming in this vessel to me or to this direction. So that I know. In long section is excellent in seeing the intima media. So this is the intima and media. You should ideally measure at the distal. We can magnify this, and for demonstration purpose I will reduce a B mode gain so that this is very nicely seen on both sides, very clean intima, and we can measure echogenic to echogenic, and here it is 5 millimeters. So more than 10 millimeters is considered abnormal. We had magnified, so we'll go back and try to screen this in the upper part of the neck. Here what you are seeing is the common carotid artery in long section and little bit increase in size. So this is the bulb region, and from the bulb region you can see this is internal carotid, and if you move the probe to the medial side, this is external carotid. I hope this is very clear. The internal carotid is bigger in size, so this is internal carotid, bigger in size, the external carotid smaller in size, and you can see the branches coming out from the external carotid. That is another way of identifying internal and external carotid. So the bulb region we have seen, the intima is very clear, no disease here. And when you see in a long section, you just move the probe laterally from the common carotid artery, and you can see the vertebral artery very nicely in between the acoustic process of the transverse process of cervical vertebrae. So this is a vertebral artery. Again, see this, it is showing pulsatility. Can identify that this is a vertebral artery. Vein may be nearby. So we have finished the B mode survey of carotid system on this side. Now we will go back to the normal size and put color. So I have put color here. The point I was explaining while the preliminary lecture was ki, see, the common carotid is making 90 degrees angle. I have kept color box vertical. So what is happening? This is from the heart till this point the blood is coming towards the probe and you can see it as red, and from this point blood is going away, so it is seen as blue. But I can invert this. So we have inverted the color scale. Now blood coming towards the probe is blue and going away is red. So this is not abnormal. It is not dictum that all the blood coming towards the probe should be red. It is depends on how we adjust. So to have ease, we usually adjust our settings so that the blood coming towards the probe is seen as red. But whenever you find that something is not seen as it should be, then check the color scale and check the position of the probe. For this reason, you need to have only two positions, a transverse and a longitudinal section. So now, see, this artery was showing this type of flow and I have angulated my probe. Now the artery has made an angle with me, and if you can see very nicely the laminar flow in the common carotid artery. And little bit yellow color in the center, that indicates the flow is little bit higher in the center, and that is normal. So if you steer this, you will reduce the angle further. This is steer 1, this is steer 2, and this is steer 3. Now what are you seeing? You see again a laminar flow, and you see a very good filling, wall to wall filling. The color gain I was telling you, if you reduce the color gain, the artery is seen as pulsatile, but nothing is seen. So check your gain. The gain here, if you see at the screen, is very less, it is 5. So whenever you are in doubt, we should check whether our color settings or any settings are correct. If you keep continuous watch on settings, you will be perfect in Doppler. So we again increase the color gain, and now we see the flow as a normal. Same is true with scale. So this is optimized scale given by the machine, and if I reduce it, you will see all blood is seen as aliasing. So the PRF is low, the Doppler shift is more, and then therefore just produce aliasing. To reduce aliasing, we will increase the flow, increase the color PRF. So it is increased to almost 4000 kilohertz, 4000 hertz, and now you can see the nice laminar flow. So once all these things are done, then we apply a spectral Doppler. Do not make a hurry in putting color as well as spectrum. Complete the B mode survey, set the color nicely, and then only you put it a spectral Doppler. So we have put a spectral Doppler. As this is a big vessel, we will just increase the sample volume up to 2.5 millimeter, and at this level we will get a go for acquiring a spectral Doppler. So young patient, mixed type of flow, good systolic, forward diastolic flow, little bit notching, but this is normal. So we'll save one image here and go forward. So whenever you're changing your location, just make the spectral Doppler off. Unnecessary, it will increase your screening time, and again the noise that machine makes will be a issue. So I was telling about the gate. I'll just put a spectral again. So if you increase the gate too much, or if the gate is outside, then you will not get color flow as correct as it was, right? If there is a vein nearby and if your gate crosses both, then you will not see the flow nicely, or you will get a mixed type of flow. So what we will do is, before going to internal, we'll just see the vertebral artery. Vertebral artery has got a little bit low amplitude flow. The peak systolic velocity is less because it supplies a smaller circulation, that is the posterior circulation. So what we had done, we had increased the PRF while we had go back to B mode, then again color. We have identified the vertebral artery. So this is the origin of vertebral artery. If you can appreciate, this is subclavian artery and this is the origin of vertebral artery. Most of the time you can trace the origin of vertebral artery, and as it passes in the neck, it passes through the intervertebral foramen, and this is acoustic of the transverse process of cervical vertebrae, and in between that you can see the vertebral artery very nicely. So just image it, see whether it is pulsatile, and then only you can go for reduce the gain so that it is better evaluation. The focus I have brought it down to the area of interest. You can adjust the focus as and when required, and now the vertebral artery is very nicely seen right from origin to here. So it is very easy to see the vertebral artery. Common carotid, just glide your probe laterally keeping the same direction, and most of the time you will be able to see the vertebral artery. Only issues would be in a older patient where neck is not extending properly, or atherosclerosis or degenerative changes in the spine. So it may make difficult. But wherever, see, the vertebral artery doesn't have any branches in the neck. So wherever you sample the vertebral artery, this will delineate, or this will give you information that it is a normal flow. If you can demonstrate normal flow anywhere in the vertebral artery, that should be normal. So we'll just put a color box here. You can see it nicely. The PRF we had increased for common carotid, so we will reduce the PRF here. So as PRF is going down, we can see very good information. Other thing, while doing Doppler, we should always remember that this is the amount of size of the color box we are using. If you reduce the color box to the optimum, it will increase the information. It will give better information. And do not increase boxes like this. It will unnecessarily pick up color from all vessels around, and you will increase your examination time. We want to reduce the examination time to a little so that it becomes very crisp and precise. So coming back to the vertebral artery, we have adjusted the box. It was already steered, so we need not steer. Now we will put a spectral Doppler. The sample volume size we may reduce little bit so that we get a color correct information. Again, vertebral artery is showing. continuous forward flow, a low resistance pattern. So we have finished with common carotid and vertebral artery. We go back to common carotid, look for bifurcation again, and just before bifurcation we make a long section. Here we will put a color box here. Now see, the vessel was making an angle like this here, and at the bifurcation the angle has changed. So if you see, the color box information is also changed. See the flow, pattern of flow seen here, and see the pattern of flow seen here. It has changed. So what we will do here, we will just invert the steering. We have inverted the steering. What has happened? This has become blue. Color coming towards the probe is blue, going away is now red. So we know where the flow is going away, and it is red. So the artery is showing red flow, and what we are doing here is we'll just increase the scale little bit so that the aliasing is reduced and complete vessel wall is filled with color. We'll increase little color again so that this is nicely seen. Now this is the bulb area, and as you can see, there is little bit reversal in the bulb. If you can, I will just scroll back this. This is that reversal in the bulb, that is normal because there is sudden increase in the caliber. So we will sample once the common carotid artery before the bifurcation. Increase the sample volume again, and I'll put the spectral gate against it. The angle is correct, it's 60 degrees. I will just on the spectral Doppler. See, the flow is going away, so it is going below baseline. So what we can do, we can either get it up like this, or you can just make a button as a steer invert, Doppler invert, and get the baseline to minimum so that you see it. So the flow pattern is same. The spectrum is going beyond the available window on the machine. So we will increase the will increase the scale of the spectrum. To increase the scale of the spectrum so that now the flow is very nicely seen. It is all filling, and if you do a auto calculation, we can see this is almost normal. He is a young patient. You can see the peak systolic velocity is 118, that is average calculated here. End diastolic is 36 centimeter per second. So for this patient this is normal. So the velocity assessment, before putting velocity, before putting calculation, before putting measurements of the velocities, you must ensure that all technical parameters you have made it very clear. So we'll go back, B mode, color. Now we enter this. The lateral one is the internal carotid. You can trace the internal carotid. Even if you sample the internal carotid in the proximal part and it is normal, then the distal internal carotid you may not sample because it rapidly goes out of the field. So this is internal carotid. We'll a little bit adjust the probe so that there is nice filling, and now we'll reduce little bit sample volume because the vessel diameter has reduced from 2.5. I reduce the gate to 2, and I will sample here to see the. We'll remove auto calculation as of now. See, the pattern has changed now. The diastolic flow is increased. I have reduced the gain, and you can see very nicely seen the peak systolic velocity is 70, EDV is 31. So our survey and evaluation of internal carotid is complete. Now in the same plane we will change the probe towards little bit medial so that we see the external carotid. Here we can expand our color box, we'll increase little bit 2D so that you can see the caliber as well as branches of the external carotid. Identifying external carotid is important because in case sometimes the occlusions of the internal carotid go unnoticed, and in case they are not seen, then if the internal carotid is occluded, all the blood flows through the external carotid, and the external carotid flow, the diastolic flow increases. We'll just see the spectrum here. I'll reduce the sample volume little bit. I reduced it to 1.5 millimeter because the vessel diameter is less, and we'll not sample here at the branch. We'll see in the lumen, and in the lumen, this is in between two branches, we will sample it. Or you can sample here also. So my hand has changed its position, so we are lost. We'll come back to color, check where was the vessel, and again sample it. So you need not change the angle of the sample volume or the gate, because the artery is already making an angle with the probe. Little bit increase in the spectrum. You can see the diastolic flow is less here. The peak is sharp, and there is rapid fall in the initial part in the peak. And if you can measure the end-diastolic velocity, that is average, is less than what we had seen in the internal carotid. So identifying the vessels is important, and in normal course you may not need them very nicely, but if there is abnormality, all these maneuvers or the technique, they come into play. Another manual for identifying the external carotid artery is the temporal tap that is described in the book, but if you are thorough with your anatomy, you really don't need to use it. What is done is you keep on the Doppler on the external carotid and keep the sample here. Somebody just tap his superficial temporal artery. गर्दन मत हिलाओ, 2 मिनट हो गया आपका फिर. Just wait. Don't tap now. I will tell you. Can you feel that artery? Just keep your hand over the artery. Tap it multiple times, like this. Stop. Just rapidly tap it. No, I think we are not getting it right. Compress and release. Okay, we'll try some time later. So once you have finished with one side, you just see it on the गर्दन इधर घुमाओ, बस सीधे लेटो. So we will not repeat for the demo, but same thing, B mode, color, spectrum, and adjusting at every stage the necessary parameters. So this ends our demo of the carotid Doppler, and I think we have some case. Yeah. So this is the other side, left side. in the left side, the carotid and subclavian, they have independent origins from the arch of aorta, and therefore seeing them, the origin of common carotid is not possible with a linear probe. Same technique. So we'll just switch for the patient. उठ के बैठ जाइए. Give him cotton.
So there is a question,
Right.
what is the reason for multiple notches in carotid spectrum and what is happening downstream to produce this?
You get notches in common carotid artery because it is a mixed flow. The part of the flow goes to internal and part of flow goes to external. And as we have discussed, the external carotid artery has got a high resistance bed. So the resistance of the bed gives that notch. One. Second, notches could be from the cardiac output also. The patient has got some rhythmic abnormalities, then also you can get spectral notches. So on both sides, if you are seeing the same type of notches, then you can consider that as normal for that particular patient.
So there is another question,
Right.
what is tap velocity displayed on the machine?
Tap velocity.
Tap velocity. I am not understand this, but someone has written what is tap velocity.
It's not tap velocity. When you tap the superficial temporal artery and at the same time if you keep the spectrum on the external carotid artery, you get the notching in the diastolic flow due to the intermittent flow impedance produced due to that tapping, and that is a confirmatory of identifying the external carotid artery.
Regarding your presentation, if both limb has pathology or monophasic flow, how to interpret?
Monophasic flow have to be assessed with always with peak systolic velocities. As I said, the acceleration time, if that is normal, the peak systolic velocity is good in that particular vessel, then you can consider it is normal for that patient. See, flow pattern is always not triphasic, especially sometimes in upper limbs. In females, you don't get triphasic flow. If a patient is very thin built, then in lower limb also you may not get triphasic flow. But it is same on both sides, and the spectrum is narrow in the superficial peripheral artery, and the peak is very sharp. Rising from 0 to peak is very sharp. Fall is very sharp. Then we can take it as normal for that particular patient.
A 53 male diabetic having both legs painful and always cold, what should be done?
In lower limb artery, you should always start from aorta. Aorta, iliac evaluation from femoral up to the popliteal and tibial arteries, and then assess the spectral flow pattern right from above downwards. And if you find that they are abnormal as far as spectrum is concerned, then you can label accordingly the site. You can do a segmental analysis always, especially when we talk about lower limb, we will talk in detail. In lower limb, the area is right from inferior aorta up to the toe. So you have to do a segmental analysis. You have to see for iliac segment, you have to see for femoral segment, you have to see for popliteal and tibial segment, and do comparative simultaneously on both sides so that we can find if there is abnormality on one side. In case of bilateral suspected disease, it is always aortic level, then only it will produce a bilateral symmetrical disease. In diabetic, usually the atherosclerosis that produces generalized changes everywhere. So there can be wall calcifications, there can be plaques, there can be occlusions, and at multiple levels also. So if you do a segment analysis, I think that is better in this case. So we'll move to the patient is
We
ready.
can, yeah, patient is ready.
Just take water. Thank you. ये निकलेगा क्या? ये पानी पीना है।